Hi everyone, I am so excited to be here with you today. Following on the great talks we heard earlier from both Jeff and Tom, it's kind of really funny because my speech is dedicated to really following through in practical application to what they both presented to you. And so I promise I did not see their slides in advance, but hopefully in me talking through what I have to say about the real cost, you'll kind of hear and think about what you heard from both of our prior speakers. So the pursuit of impact is what I wanted to talk to you about today, because it's really about knowing where you're going before you've even taken your first step. And so working at the FDA, I've had the opportunity to talk a lot to audiences like this, and I'm always amazed, one, that you're interested in what I have to say, but two, that you're interested in learning about a very definitive model for social marketing that the FDA is employing. And if you take away one thing, what I'm hoping you'll learn from today is the power of finding the most amazing insights from research and pulling those insights through every single step of campaign implementation. And if you find the right insights and you creatively wrap around those insights, and then you strategically place the message where your audience is most likely to hear it, and you create really engaging ways to deliver new news in new ways, you can create effective and dynamic, powerful change with advertising. And here we go. There we go. So why are we here today? I think we're here because we all share in a fundamental belief in the ability to create positive change in our society. No matter if you're working on obesity prevention or tobacco prevention or just helping people to live healthier lives, I think we all genuinely believe that we can make a difference. And so the first thing we have to understand is start with the problem. And so despite literally decades of tobacco control, decades of policy change, decades of mass media campaigns, decades of local intervention, we have to ask ourselves, despite all the knowledge that has been gained about the dangers of tobacco products, why do more than 2,600 youth still start smoking every day? And why do 600 more become daily smokers despite the fact? So something is really happening here that we have to understand. And so it's that question that FDA set out to understand. And one of the things that we heard, actually, let's back up too fast. One of the things we heard from Jeff when he spoke is the power of segmentation. So the first thing the FDA did was to understand who are the at-risk kids in today's population, why are they at risk, and how can we possibly affect behavior change with them. And so in doing our research, there's roughly 25 million 12 to 17-year-olds in the US today, of which we can identify that roughly 10 million, or 40%, are at immediate risk for tobacco initiation or becoming daily smokers. And that's a whole lot of kids out there. So we set out really two overarching goals, the FDA, to prevent initiation among the kids who are basically one party away from smoking their first cigarette. And we're also trying to stop progression to regular use among kids who are currently experimenting but haven't yet become the daily addicted smokers. So you might say to yourself, well, how do you go about doing that? And I have to impress upon you guys how much I believe in what Jeff had said earlier about the power of segmentation. 10 million kids are not a homogeneous group. So some might believe that you can talk to all these kids the same way and affect the same change. But fundamentally, we didn't believe that. And so we segmented the audience based on those who are most at risk. And then we looked at key factors, key socioeconomic factors, key demographic factors, key psychographic factors. And we came up with a segmentation strategy to develop 5 different youth prevention campaigns. I'm going to be talking to you about the real cost today, which is our mass media, mass market, general market campaign. But we also have several others, including several with Rescue Social Change. Jeff's going to be talking about Fresh Empire a little bit later today. We also have another campaign coming out late spring targeting LGBT young adults. And then we have a rural smokeless campaign that's also launching this spring. And then we're just a little bit farther behind on Alaska Native American Indian effort. So all that to say, we're really in it to win it, because it's not acceptable that 2,600 kids are still starting their first cigarette every day, and so we're trying to change that. So developing the real cost. We follow a really rigorous science-based process, and I'm going to walk you through a model in a minute. But there's really three things that everything we're designed to do is tracking towards. We have short-term outcomes, intermediate outcomes, and long-term outcomes. So our goal is to raise awareness in the short term. In the intermediate term, we want to change campaign-targeted beliefs, and then ultimately affect behavior change so that we have a whole lot of fewer kids smoking tobacco products. So this is our behavior change model, and I promise you it's not scary. And while it's not rocket science, it is the absolute best that we can present to you in terms of social science. So we follow this process rigorously, and hopefully you'll take away a little bit from what I have to say. So campaign implementation, there's 4 phases, and within each phase there's a significant amount of work. In the research phase, we follow at least three or four opportunities to talk to kids through formative research, through quantitative research, and then evaluation research. And I don't have time to get into each of those today, but just I promise you, we're steeped in research. Then we head into the creative development phase. We head into the targeted media plan phase, and then the digital and social media engagement stage. So I'm going to walk you through quickly. But the important thing is we have short-term outcome goals that we set for ourselves. So we really had a benchmark. The first thing was we knew that we wanted to create at least 75% ad awareness in the short term, and to really create positive receptivity for our messages. So I'll be reporting back to you about that, as well as our intermediate goals, which was we just put a stake in the sand, and we said we have these campaign-targeted beliefs that we want to create a new way for kids to think about these. And so our goal was that we would change targeted beliefs by at least 8% at the time of the follow-up wave evaluation. And our long-term goal is ultimately hundreds of thousands of fewer smokers, which we haven't yet accomplished that in our evaluation study. So formative research, let's talk quickly about this. So what we knew from our formative research is that while it might not be the social norm for us to believe that smoking is normalized, for the teens we're trying to reach, it absolutely is normalized. They are absolutely surrounded by smokers, their parents, their siblings, their friends. So to them, smoking is the norm. We also know that they're completely stressed out by their environment. They're often dealing with really somewhat problematic home lives, and that means that they have oftentimes poor coping skills, and so they're turning to things like tobacco or drinking or drugs to help them either to self-medicate or to cope with their stress. And there's other risk factors. They oftentimes come from lower socioeconomic homes. They're not necessarily academically driven because they don't have access to some great schools. They're not involved in extracurricular activities. And so I often think back to when I first started working on the Truth campaign, it was a very different kid that we were trying to reach. But now the kids we're trying to reach are really among the most marginalized in society. And so how do you reach them? Especially because there's 3 main things. When we're talking to, and we've talked to probably thousands of kids at this point in time, none of them believe that they are smokers, even though they acknowledge, they walk in the room with a pack of smokes, but they just don't believe that they're smokers. They think they can smoke on the weekends, and that means that they're not smokers. They fundamentally never believe that they will ever get addicted, and even if they do think they can get addicted, they think they can quit at any time. And so we find that they're very hard to reach, they're hard to engage, and they're hard to motivate because they have these natural deflections, because they will never be the one to die from cancer because they're never going to be long enough smoking the cigarettes. So one of the things we did is we did our own research, but we also looked at the existing evidence base, and we found an amazing study from University of Pennsylvania School of Annenberg, School of Communication. And what they found are what we built our entire program around. So they found that they were able to identify promising tobacco prevention message themes based on emotional triggers and rational triggers. And emotional messages, they identified that among the kids who are most at risk for experimentation, there were belief statements that if you could trigger these belief statements, that you would have the ability to create different beliefs. And so we looked at the belief statements. There was a battery of probably 57 of them, and we looked at the belief statements where we saw the greatest potential gain to shift kids from where their beliefs were today to where we want their beliefs to be. And so emotionally, we found that if I smoke, I will be controlled by smoking, was something that showed great promise from a messaging standpoint, as well as if I smoke, I will not show my independence and I will not be making my own decisions. And then we found some rational messages to really focus on in the advertising. One was that if I smoke, I will get wrinkles, lose teeth, or have skin problems. And another is, if I smoke, I will inhale poisons. These were more on the rational side of things. And we said that if we can show promising, if we target these beliefs through our advertising, we believe that these ones have the most likely percentage of changing beliefs over time. So that's exactly what we did. We built all of our creative around these 4 campaign pillars, and I'm going to show you that creative now. So something important to remember with creative, and I always say, it's very important to talk to someone as if you were their friend. And sometimes you deliver funny information. Sometimes you deliver it in a more poignant way. Sometimes you deliver it in a scary way. You don't always have to talk to kids with the same tone. And we really try to employ that with our advertising. We have the opportunity to make breakthrough advertising and get kids to really think about the cost of each and every cigarette, and we're by focusing on the health and addiction risks. So we found new ways to talk about the health consequences. We were disrupting their belief about addiction by stressing the fact that they will lose control, and we're challenging their beliefs by presenting new information about the dangerous chemicals. So let's talk for a second about their appearance. Can you roll the creative, please?
Pack of cigarettes, please.
It's not enough.
What's a pack of smokes cost? Your teeth. Smoking can cause serious gum disease that makes you more likely to lose them. What are cigarettes costing you?
Pack of cigarettes?
You need a little more, honey.
What's a pack of smokes cost? Your smooth skin. Smoking causes wrinkles that age you prematurely. What are cigarettes costing you?
So that was really messaging laser focused on the fact that tobacco will help you to lose your teeth. Tobacco will cause you to age prematurely. Let's focus real quickly in on loss of control.
I, Amanda Green, with this contract, I relinquish part of my freedom to you.
There's a contract in every cigarette. When you light up, you sign up. Don't let tobacco control you.
I just wasn't feeling that one. Let's go! You and me, we're going solo.
Cigarettes are bullies. Don't let tobacco control you.
No one wants to be controlled by a negative outside force, and certainly you don't want to be controlled by your addiction. Now let's talk real quickly about the real cost of inhaling dangerous poisons.
Every time you smoke, there's a toxic mix of over 7,000 chemicals coming for you.
Formaldehyde, nitrobenzene. This actually has over 7,000 chemicals.
Mr. Essler.
Don't get me started on what they do to you.
If cigarettes looked as dangerous as they are, you'd run like hell. Find out the real cost of tobacco.
if you understood how dangerous tobacco is, you'd run like hell. So one of the things we did after we developed what we think is really breakthrough, fresh portrayals of the negative health consequences and the addiction risks, we had to develop a really laser-targeted and smart media plan. So finding the kids where they are. There we go, thank you. Media planning and buying is one of the most important elements, right? Because you could have the most impactful creative built on the most amazing insights, but if you don't know where to find your audience, then it's going to basically fall on deaf ears. And so we had a laser-targeted and focused media plan based on at-risk teens' media passion points, like snarky comedy, different types of music, extreme sports, and gaming. And we've been pounding it hard. So basically we've been running at incredibly high reach and frequency levels for almost 2 years. And then just real quickly about our social media. So you guys, it's not lost on you that basically kids, if you want to talk to them, it's on their mobile devices. We know that we're engaging kids through our what we consider to be really breakthrough social media programs. So we've reached almost 10 million unique visitors on the website in about 18 months. And we believe we're really starting to motivate kids to rethink their relationship with tobacco based on 9.2 million campaign-related conversations. And here's just a few to highlight from the Creatures campaign, Run Like Hell. So let's take a quick snapshot about how we did. So remember I said our goal for short-term outcomes was to achieve 75% ad awareness among our youth. And I'm really happy to report that we greatly exceeded that. So the follow-up evaluation results were among almost 6,000 kids. The recall of the real cost is at 89% among overall youth, but more importantly, 92% of the campaign target audience, the exact target audience, has really high awareness of the ads and receptivity of the ads. And so we had set the benchmark based on what the evidence base the CDC had said for mass media campaigns. And so we think that based on this indicator, we're well on our way. But let me share even better news, our intermediate outcomes. So remember I said our goal was to create in the campaign targeted beliefs to create at least an 8 percentage point relative change. I'm excited to share that we have exceeded that. The follow-up results among 5,200 participants, basically the real cost has influenced tobacco-related beliefs among youth nationwide, an average of 11.5%. Based on the specific targeted beliefs. So the evidence is suggesting that the campaign-related beliefs are more likely to change beliefs about tobacco than those not targeted. For instance, there's a whole lot of beliefs that we didn't target with our advertising. And these beliefs were observed through lots of different external measures. So we're really confident in the results that we're showing here. So quickly, there were 5 campaign-targeted perceptions that saw phenomenal changes from the baseline to the second follow-up. Among kids, they said, if I smoke, I will lose my teeth. There was a percentage change gain of 21%. So the 21% more likely, after seeing the ads, to believe that they will lose their teeth. 35% more likely to say they will get wrinkles if they smoke. 11.2% more likely to say they're going to be controlled by smoking, or 9% more likely to say if I smoke, I'm going to inhale poisons. And those creative had not been seeded in the marketplace as long as skin and tooth. So overall, I feel like we're in a great place for the next wave of evaluation to show behavior change. So in closing, this was really hard to do in 19 minutes. Breakthrough campaigns absolutely can create change. If I can just leave you with a couple of things. Bold, persuasive advertising can be a force for change. So if that's in your wheelhouse, you really can do it. And there's a proven model for success. do follow a behavior change model. Don't be afraid of it, because it's great to have guideposts for you. Pursue consumer insights as the first step in creative ideation. Hopefully you saw how we use those insights to develop the creative, to develop the research, the media plan, and then to craft the evaluation program. Your creative needs to be really compelling and laser-focused, single message. I know sometimes you want to put more than one message in an ad, but hopefully in those little snippets, you really saw how we were pulling through one clear, concise main message. Then you've got to quantitatively test the campaign to make sure that you're doing the right thing, execute a really smart media plan, and then design an evaluation program that will prove your effectiveness. Thank you so much.